Good afternoon. Welcome back, and welcome to, I know there are a few people who came in at the break who couldn't be here for the first session, so welcome to this second session of today's event. I did just want to make a few more remarks about the Becker-Friedman Institute itself. To use Claudia's terminology, when I made a few remarks before, I was talking about the virtues of the Chicago School of Economics. And I want to just say a little bit about how some of that connects to the Becker-Friedman Institute in particular. And let me start with a question that I get all the time in China. So we're doing a lot of work in China now. I'm in China fairly regularly. And I think I'm never before an audience of people in China when I do not get the following question, which is, you have so many Nobel Prize winners who have been either on the who are on the faculty, have been on the faculty, who have been alumni, who have been faculty members at one point or another in their career. What's your secret? Tell us what the secret is. And the answer I give is twofold. Of course, first of all, you have to have the right people. But there's something more than just having the right people. And that, as I describe in China, it's an interesting thing to say in China, is that the culture at Chicago is one of enormous challenge, debate, argument, a constant testing of ideas, and no deference to authority. That if you are in an argument, the question is not who's the graduate student and who's the Nobel Prize winner, but whose argument is right. And that, in fact, is an enormous feature of the University of Chicago culture. And then, in fact, I always use the economics department and the nature of its workshops and seminars as an exemplar of something that the university aspires to across the board. I just tell you one other story. When shortly after Milton Friedman died, it was maybe a little while afterwards, we had a memorial service, in fact, jointly with CME at Rockefeller Chapel in Chicago, a memorial service for Milton Friedman. And about a couple of days before that service, Jim Heckman happened to be in my office. And in fact, what we were discussing was how to create an institute at the University of Chicago. But I mentioned to Jim that I had to say something at this memorial, and I was thinking about what to say. And he said, you know what you should do? You should read this paper on positive economics, paper that I had mentioned before. So I read the paper, and I thought it was wonderful. And in fact, when I made my remarks at this memorial service, I actually quoted some of the things he said in there. So after the event, I went to the reception where everybody was. Everybody's milling around. And of course, Heckman was delighted. He felt like he had given a homework assignment to the president of the university. And you know, they obviously felt like I had passed. So he was very pleased. But then I ran into Bob Lucas, who said, you know, in his way, he said, well, nice remarks. He said, but, you know, I have a problem with that paper. And so even at Milton Friedman's memorial, Lucas is arguing with his paper. So anyway, I thought that was a wonderful story because it really captures so much about the spirit of the University of Chicago. And what we really want to do with the Becker-Friedman Institute and in the spirit of making no small plans is really to make this the leading intellectual destination in the world for the type of rigorous discourse and argumentation around economic thought. We have the history to do it, we have the ambition to do it, and that's our plan. And that's what this institute is about. So it's both taking the virtues of the Chicago School of Economics that I described before, combined with what I would say is the methodology of it that has enabled it to be so effective over the years, and to expand that in a dramatic way. Now, one of the people who has done so much work on this, as I indicated before, is the moderator for our second panel, and that is Lars Hansen. I think it's fair to say that we would not be where we are today in terms of the organization and development of the Becker-Friedman Institute without Lars's work. So I just want to express my own personal appreciation to Lars for everything that he's done. Lars is the David Rockefeller Professor of Economics and Statistics at the University of Chicago, and it's a pleasure to give the floor to Lars.